Sessions with experts in business and health, featuring your host, Dr. Alex Rosa. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to In Your Business with Dr. Alex, where we get all up in your business and your health. Enjoy live interviews and solo sessions with experts in business and health, featuring your host, Dr. Alex Rosa. Let's get into today's episode.
Hey, welcome to today's episode of In Your Business with Dr. Alex. I'm Dr. Alex Rosa, the holistic wellness expert to elite women 40 plus. And today we're talking about if I eat something, I gain a ton of weight, because I have heard so many women talk about this, say this. And if you're one of them, if you're brave enough, if you want to, you can leave a little comment or a little emoji in the chat and let us know, because I have heard so many women say this. And actually, a woman I was talking to not too long ago had mentioned this. I'm trying to bring up my chat here, if I can get it to come up. Here we go. So I'm live. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat or say hello. Let us know where in this whole wide world that you are joining us from. But yeah, we're going to be talking about if I eat something, I gain a ton of weight, or I feel like I can't eat anything at all without gaining a bunch of weight. Again, if this sounds familiar, or if you've heard somebody say this to you, give us some love in the chat here, because I've heard so many women say this. And actually, a woman I was talking to not too long ago had mentioned this. And she also had struggled with being on that cycle all the time of, let me go keto, let me go gluten-free, let me go dairy-free. And she would go real hard on that for a while and have really great results. But then it was impossible for her to maintain. So she would drop off. And then as soon as she started eating other things, she started to gain weight. So she kept going back and forth through this cycle over and over again. And there's something that you need to consider. And I think especially if you are a professional woman, an executive, an entrepreneur, you have a very busy schedule, or if you're somebody who does a lot of online work, you're sitting in front of a computer or sitting in front of a desk for a while. You know, a lot of times we can feel so exhausted at the end of the day, felt like we were so busy, like we were doing so much. And we are, but we're doing it with up here, right? We're doing it with our brain. We're not doing it with the rest of our body. And so we feel physically tired. However, we've only used our brain, and our brain is not really going to burn any calories for us, right? It's not really going to do anything for the overall health of the rest of our body. So one thing that you need to consider is, even though you feel tired and you feel fatigued and you feel so worn out, your physical body has not been worked. Therefore, you are really leading a sedentary lifestyle. You really are. You truly are. So if you're filling out anything online, or if you're trying to do a little calorie calculator and all that stuff, even though you feel super busy, super tired and exhausted, you're really living a sedentary lifestyle. So you need to keep that in consideration when you're thinking about your food choices, because a sedentary body really doesn't require a lot of calories to function. And actually, the more sedentary you become, the less and less amount of calories that are going to be required, because your body is going to get very efficient at functioning at low levels of calories. And it's going to get really good at running and humming with not a lot of food coming into it, with not a lot of energy being required. And that's a problem, because as soon as you go to eat something, that your body is not going to be able to metabolize it very well, and it's just going to add on as weight. Like, you're going to feel like you're not really eating that much, and you probably aren't, but your body has become so efficient at using barely any calories to function. So all of that food that you're eating, it's not really going to be used up, and it's going to be stored. Does that sort of make sense to people? You're living a very sedentary lifestyle. Being sedentary does not require a lot of calories. So anytime you eat a little bit extra of this or a little bit extra of that, is going to show up in a big way, because your body is not burning it off doing anything, because you're not doing anything. You're being very sedentary, even though you think you're busy, 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 busy. So it's something to consider if you are somebody who has said that to themselves or to somebody else about yourself. You really need to stop and think, what type of lifestyle am I leading? And then what type of diet, what type of foods am I consuming? And do those two things make sense? Because again, a sedentary lifestyle does not require a lot of calories. A sedentary body does not require a lot of calories. So as soon as you eat a little bit of something of this and a little bit of something of that, then it's going to show up. You're going to gain weight. On the flip side of that, if you want to have more freedom, more flexibility in your diet and in what you're eating, then the more active you are, the ability that you're going to have. You're going to have that ability to eat this extra, eat a little of that extra, and it's not going to show up. It's not going to for you. So that's something else to consider. So you want to have freedom and want to have flexibility in your food, then you need to think about your activity level and making sure that you're having exercise, weight training a priority for yourself when it comes to your activity level. That way you have more flexibility and more freedom in your food choices, because you are going to have to be very restricted in your diet if you choose to remain having a sedentary lifestyle. So if you are choosing to stay in front of the computer all day, continue with the type of lifestyle that you have, which I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Like, if that's your schedule and that's what you got going on and that's a lifestyle that you're leading, then your diet has to adjust to that. You can't expect to remain at that sedentary lifestyle, that level, and expect to be able to eat anything and everything that you want but not gain weight. Those two things don't make sense. You're going to have to decide what you want to do. If you want to have more freedom and flexibility in your food choices, you're going to have to lead a more active lifestyle, because you'll be burning those calories and using those calories. And actually, the more weight training, the more resistance training that you do, the more muscle that you build. And muscle needs energy to grow, to function. So, and glucose, right? Muscle is great at uptake of glucose. And that's building muscle is one of the greatest things that you can do to lower your insulin levels, to lower your blood sugar levels, is through weightlifting, resistance training, building muscle. So the more muscle that you can build, the more that it's going to use those calories, use that energy, and the more freedom and flexibility you're going to have in your food choices. So it simply is a choice that you need to make. It's something that you need to consider. And not a lot of people consider that those different perspectives when they're thinking about their food. You really have to decide. There's nothing wrong if you want to, again, have that sedentary lifestyle and sit in front of that laptop or sit in front of that computer or remain in an office. Like, if that's your schedule and that's what you want to continue doing, then you better have a diet that's going to match that, and not have these unreal expectations of, let me eat blah, 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 but then complain that you're gaining weight because you're being sedentary. Your body does not require a lot of calories to function at that low level of activity. So if you're somebody who keeps telling yourself that they can't work out, they don't got time to work out, then that's a choice that you're making. Absolutely is a choice that you're making. But if you want to have more freedom, more flexibility in your food, in your diet, then becoming more active is the way to go. And you have to prioritize that. You're going to have to start setting aside some time for that. And what I will give you a little trick around that and around the exercise, if you're limited on time, which I work with busy entrepreneurial women all the time who have busy schedules, they're flying here, they're flying there, meetings, boom, boom, boom. This is the way that you can do it. This is the way that you can do it. So you should probably write this down, what I'm about to tell you. This is the way that you can do it. And this is why I love weight training versus cardio any day of the week. Because with cardio, you need to maintain that high heart rate for an extended period of time, for a set period of time to get those results. And cardiovascular cardio really only works your cardiovascular system, really only works your heart and your lungs, which is good. It's very beneficial, but it doesn't build muscle. Cardio does not build muscle. You need to do weight resistance training to build muscle. And so the beautiful thing about weight training and building muscle is you only have to work that muscle for the period of time that you're working it. So what you can do is you can do 15 minutes in the morning or at one part of the day, and then you can do another 15 minutes later on. You can break up your sessions, and that's an easy way to get 30 minutes of weight resistance training. Break it up into 2 different blocks. I mean, who doesn't got 15 minutes here and who doesn't got 15 minutes here? And if you need to prioritize some 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, you absolutely do. That is a really great way to get those benefits of weight training if you have a very jam-packed schedule. Because with weight training, you don't have to sustain anything. You don't have to keep your heart rate up. You don't have to sustain anything to get the benefits of resistance training. You just need to work that muscle real good in whatever sets or whatever fashion you're doing for 15 minutes and 15 minutes versus cardio, where you need to keep that high, steady heart rate up for an extended period of time to get those results. Cardio doesn't work if you do 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there. I mean, it's better than nothing. However, it's not going to be as beneficial and give you the bang for your buck versus weight training, resistance training. You absolutely need to start doing that, especially as a woman, because unfortunately, along with this sedentary lifestyle that many of us are leading, we're also very under muscled. So it's not so much of an excess fat problem, because I just did a post on this the other day about skinny fat. It's not so much that people are walking around with excess amounts of fat. A lot of them are. But what's even more dangerous is people who are not very outwardly heavy and not carrying around excessive amounts of fat. However, they are very under muscled, and that can be even more dangerous than being obese. We need to be building our muscle. So being under muscled is extremely dangerous for you as well. You need that muscle tone, that muscle support. As you age, you need to increase that even more, because the muscle mass that we lose, I forgot what the percentage of it every year that you lose after the age of 35, especially for women. And so muscle, we need that for so many functions in our body, to build those muscles, to help with our insulin levels, to help with our hormone levels, to help with our immunity, to help with our blood flow, to help with just being able to function and perform our activities, for our energy levels, for our metabolism. It just helps with so many parts of our body. It is one of the biggest organs that we have is our muscles. So we need to make sure that we are supporting those and not remaining under muscled. That is so dangerous. So again, if you're choosing to have that sedentary lifestyle, please hear my words when I tell you being under muscled is so dangerous for your health. And so the more that you can do to build that muscle, and again, 15 minutes and 15 minutes is all you need to start building that and changing that 3 times a week is a good place to start. This is where I tell beginners to start 3 times a week, 15 and 15. Start doing that. And there's so many, you can start with body weights. That was another thing that the woman I was talking to had mentioned. I don't have weights, or my husband has this weight set in the garage and this and this. I'm like, girl, you got a body, your body weighs something. Use your body weight. There's lots of body weight activities out there, or you can step it up and have some weights and actually use the weights. There's the tonal, there's a mirror, all those different workout things. And how many of us got those things but aren't using them? You got to start using them. They're right there. Use them. Again, 15 minutes and 15 minutes. It's not that difficult to find 15 minutes to do this. And this is literally something that can change the whole trajectory of your health, is just by building this muscle. Remaining under muscled is so dangerous for you on so many levels, especially as women, especially as we age. We're at risk for osteoporosis, or hormones are going crazy all over the place. We're looking differently, right? Physically, you start changing, fat starts moving around to other places. Building muscle and having really good muscle tone is just essential to your overall image, your appearance, and your function, how you function in real life. So many benefits to it. But a lot of women aren't thinking that way, or they're thinking, oh my God, if I start lifting weights, I'm about to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and blah, 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 or be one of them bodybuilder chicks. And you're not, unless that's what you want to look like. There's a scientific process to get into like that. It takes a lot of work to get to like that. It's possible if that's what you want. But for most people, for most of the people, they're under muscled. And just by simply working your muscles, you can see such a dramatic difference in your overall health, in your blood glucose levels, in your blood pressure, in your weight, in your lab work. Holy moly. You can run some labs at 0, no lifting weights, no nothing, under muscled. My God, I wonder what your albumin is. Start lifting some weights. You will see such a difference in your blood work in a few months if you rerun it. I can guarantee you that. I guarantee you all those inflammatory markers will be way down, the insulin, glucose, way down, just by simply doing that. And these are those lab markers that we need to be paying attention to, because they can let us know. These are like early warning signals that something is going on inside of your body. And so many providers are just telling patients that, oh, your lab work's fine, is normal. No, you don't feel right. You know something's wrong with you, but you're being told that your lab work is fine. And this is another video that I did about lab work. I've done a couple short videos and a longer video on lab work. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unreal how people are telling you that your lab work is fine, but it's not optimal. And that's where we need to be, instead of being at this normal, because normal labs, honey, those are the average of the people that are around you. And is the average of the people around you very healthy? You look around and see the majority of people, are they very healthy? No. So we're comparing your lab work to a bunch of unhealthy people. This is not benefiting you at all. We're missing so many of the early warning signs of chronic illnesses, of diseases that are reversible, that are preventable. We're missing the signs because we're trying to go by these high, low, abnormal, normal. No, we need to be shooting for optimal. And if you've requested lab work from your provider and they just look at you crazy, or like, oh, your insurance is not going to cover that or whatever, I have a shop where you can shop for a bunch of different lab tests. If you are looking for inflammation, for gut health, for hormone levels, for women's health, there's so many different, for food allergies and sensitivities. I mean, I have a whole bunch of lab tests that you can choose from, that you can go on, see what it is, and decide if it's something that you want to get for yourself. There's saliva. There's ones you can do through your saliva. There's ones that you can get done through your blood. There's ones you can get done through your stool, and they send them all to your house. Like, it's absolutely incredible. So I wanted to be able to offer this because I know so many people have trouble getting certain types of labs from their doctor, or they don't know what types of labs to ask for, and I have a really nice description of all these labs in my shop that you can check out. I'll leave the link below in the comments so that you can go check out my shop to see what type of labs you might benefit the best from. And these are all labs that you can go. You don't have to be working with me privately. Anybody can go on and look at these labs and see what will benefit you the best. So that's just another thing. You can see such a huge difference in your lab work just by adding some resistance training. By not remaining under muscled, you can see such a huge difference in your overall health, which can lead to weight loss, right? Better muscle tone, you'll look better, you'll feel better, you'll perform better. So it's not so much of, oh, I can't eat anything because I gain a ton of weight. Well, let's look at your activity. Let's look at your lifestyle. Are those two things matching? Because again, if you're leading a sedentary life, honey, you don't need a lot of calories to lead a sedentary life. And it's a no-brainer that if you eat X, Y, and Z, it's going to start to show up in your waistline, on the scale. Clothes are going to be tighter. It's going to happen. So we need to make sure that the lifestyle is matching up with the activity level. And there's a really easy way to raise that activity level. Just like I said, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there of resistance training 3 times a week. You will see such a huge difference in your labs, in how you're feeling, in how you're looking, just by doing that, by building that muscle. We want to get away from being under muscled. It's such a huge problem because muscle is medicine, people. Muscle is medicine. It can do wonders for you. Why do you think we got these old people lifting weights and stuff when you go to PT, right? Because it works. Physical therapy works. Lifting weights works. But we want to do that when we're younger, right? We want to do that when we're younger for longevity and for lifespan and for activity. That's what we want to do. And speaking of that, I'm kind of going to wrap it up here. But if you are interested in longevity, in activity level, anti-aging, all of that, I have a free masterclass coming out. It's called Mastering the Art of Biohacking for Women Over 40. We're going to be talking about hormone health, fat loss. We're going to talk about anti-aging, longevity, lifespan. Honey, we're going to talk about it all. And it's going to be free. It's going to be a 3-day live series. I'm so excited about it because we're going to have some really great resources that are going to be included in it. We're going to be talking about like what kind of tests that you need to be asking for from your doctor, what type of IV infusions and supplementation are best for all of this. I'm going to give you some real actionable items that you can just like have and take and implement right away because I'm all about taking action on stuff. I just don't want you to watch and learn. I want you to actually do the things so you can change your life, so that you can save your life, extend your life. So this is going to be a really, really in-depth 3-day live masterclass. So if you want to learn more about it or kind of stay up to date with it as I kind of unroll, or what I want to say is kind of I reveal more of the details of it, then just send me a message, send me your email. That way I can add you to the list so that as more and more information comes out, I can let you know and you can stay up to date with all the different things. But it's going to be a really great 3-day live. It's going to be so much information I'm going to share with you. And I want it to be interactive. So you can definitely ask me questions. And even right now, guys, when I'm doing these live videos, ask questions, drop them in the chat. This is a really great time to use me as a resource because I'm here. I'll answer any questions that you have live in real time. But if you send me a message later on after we're live, I'll send you a reply in the DMs or however. But that's the best way to get a hold of me. Or if you're watching my videos and you're like, wow, like I didn't know that or I learned that, leave it in the chat or send me a message and let me know. I'd love to have a conversation with you around what you learned and what else I can make content around that's going to be beneficial for you. I want to serve you, I want to help you, but I don't know what you don't know. So you need to let me know so I can make more content about that. But I'm super excited about this 3-day live masterclass. This is going to be really good, really beneficial. So if you're a woman over 40 and you're interested in biohacking, longevity, fat loss, hormone health, then definitely you want to be at this class. You want to be there. Tell a friend, have them come along too. Again, it's free. But I'm going to be giving you really great, amazing resources, again, that you're going to be able to take and use right away. Take to your doctor, take to your provider, go look around, start implementing and using these things in your real life to save your life, to extend your life. It's going to be really great. So that's all I have for today in today's episode of In Your Business with Dr. Alex. And like I always say, for a balanced life, just add spice. I'll see you next time.